It's Y2K, the first iPod was just introduced. All the cool kids were on MySpace and AOL Instant Messenger. My handle was Soap306. Anyways, in the basketball world, we would see the draft prospects of the 90s become full-blown superstars in the 2000s. Bye 1990s. This is the 2000s basketball shoes that defined an era. Adidas and Kobe. Drafted in 1996, it took Kobe a few years to really put it all together. His first few years in the league, Kobe would wear some iconic Adidas shoes, including the Top 10 2000, the Top 10 2010, and of course, the EQT Elevation. In the late 90s, Kobe would get his own signature shoe with Adidas. The KB, the KB2, and the KB3. KB standing for Kobe, of course. And you know what? All these shoes are actually really cool looking back. Then, in 2000, things would get interesting for lack of a better word, with the release of the Adidas Kobe 1. Making its appearance in the NBA Finals, it left many people wondering what the heck Kobe had on his feet. Inspired by Kobe's favorite car at the time, the Audi TT Roadster. Designer of the shoe, Eric Lund Nielsen and Peter Moore, would even consult with designers of the original Audi TT Roadster to try to get concepts for the sneaker. They were trying to merge like innovation, sports, and basketball, and in that 2000s era, silver, like futuristic looking shoe all in one design, and that was the Kobe 1. We actually have a whole video series dedicated to the Mamba sneaker history that you should totally check out if you haven't already. But check that out after you watch this video. The Air Jordan 18. Although Jordan didn't win any championships with the Washington Wizards, he did have some good sneakers come out. Stuff that really gets slept on, like the 16s, the 17s, and these, the Air Jordan 18s. Like a lot of the sneakers Jordan wore in the later part of his career, this shoe was inspired by luxury and Jordan's love of race cars. With very clean line designs with this flap-like shroud on the upper, premium materials that could be worn on or off the court. The shoe also featured vents and carbon fiber on the sole for support. This is like stuff that would be seen on F1 cars. The shoes were so luxurious that they even came with a brush and towel so that the wearer can make sure that they're always clean and looking luxurious and fresh. The entire Air Jordan catalog spans across 3 decades now, and this was the last one that Jordan actually wore on the court, and that's incredible, and that's why it's on this list. The And1 Tai Chi. Although today And1 is a brand that gets laughed at and sells rip-off Jordans at Walmart, in the early 2000s, And1 was huge. They had these really popular mixtapes and these amazing trash talk tees, and actually their shoes were actually really good, and the Tai Chi was one of the big ones for the brand. High-flying Raptors guard Vince Carter was between sneaker brands at the time. His Puma deal was short-lived, and every brand was throwing stuff at Vince. And one of those brands was And1, and they threw him the Tai Chis, so he decided to try them out, and he actually really liked them. And luckily for And1, he tried it out on the biggest stage, the 2000 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. Vince Carter was doing some crazy dunks.
For Vince Carter.
And man, I really highly recommend you watch the dunk contest from 2000 with Vince Carter wearing these. Dude, they make those And1s look like superpower shoes. It was an incredible time in basketball and basketball sneaker era too. The And1, the Tai Chis. Shout out to Vince Carter. Fun fact, even Kobe had a pair of Tai Chis during his own sneaker-free agency period. The Adidas T-Mac 1. Tracy McGrady is one of those players that people forget just how good he was. He was an incredible basketball player. He was part of one of the best young duos the NBA has ever seen. And after wearing the Mad handle, in 2002, Tracy McGrady would finally get his own signature shoe with the T-Mac 1, which had features like Adidas torsion system, a full-length herringbone sole, and a rubber shell toe that would wrap around to the midfoot, which was a huge characteristic of the shoe, and was a callback to the classic Adidas shell toe superstars. To this day, this basketball shoe just screams the 2000s for me. The shoe was so popular that a young high school kid named LeBron James would lace up special versions of the shoe for his high school, St. Vincent St. Mary. I love the T-Mac ones. The Dada Latrell Sprewell Spinners. Okay, so this one is for the old heads right here. When Latrell Sprewell and Dada partnered to create this shoe, casual fans of basketball shoes pretty much lost their minds. I mean, the shoe had a spinner on it. You have to remember that these came out at a time when having an Escalade with 22-inch spinners was the ultimate status symbol. And it's truly a one-of-a-kind design, but one of the biggest gimmicks ever. He actually wore these shoes on the court, which is kind of crazy. Let us know in the comments, fam. Did you own a pair of the Sprewell spinners? We won't judge you, I promise. Also, subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying it. The Reebok Answer 4 and Answer 5. Allen Iverson straight up hooped in this shoe. He was the MVP scoring champ. He was scoring from everywhere. He even took the Sixers to the NBA Finals. And although they lost, he did give us one of the best NBA moments ever. The infamous step over when he shot that 3 and stepped over Tai Lu. Just absolutely disgusting. This sneaker, along with the Answer 5, were a go-to for a lot of people in my high school actually. I remember seeing the red and white Answer 5s everywhere. But between the two, I'd say the 4s are my favorite. I love the way they looked. This is another one of those sneakers that Kobe would try out during his sneaker free agency days. It was that good of a sneaker. I love these, and they're classic 2000s basketball shoes. Okay, the Nike Shox BB4. The 2000 Sydney Olympics gave us one of the best in-game dunks, if not probably the best dunk ever. Vince Carter hammering one over 7'2" Frederick Wise. It still gives me chills watching it. It's an insane dunk. And the shoes in question for such a big moment in sports, the Nike Shox BB4. Like its name suggests, this shoe features Nike Shox technology in the heel, a herringbone traction pattern, an air unit in the forefoot, and a molded leather upper. Shox were everywhere in the early 2000s, and a lot of that success has to do with Vince Carter. And when Vince Carter announced his retirement a few years back, Nike brought back out the BB4 to honor the great. Now, I wish we got some more of Vince's Nikes like the VC1s and the 3s, but the BB4 is an all-time classic and really makes you think that you can jump over somebody 7 foot like Vince did. The Nike Air Zoom generation. A young LeBron James coming out of high school was probably the biggest prospect in any sport ever. It's a story that kind of just wrote itself. Like he always says, a kid from Akron, raised in Ohio. He was drafted first overall pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then years later, bringing the team their first NBA championship. One of the greatest to ever do it. But this all started out in 2003 with the Air Zoom generation. Personally, a favorite of the LeBron line for me. Nike had to come out with something big for LeBron, especially after signing the high school kid to a $90 million contract before he even played a single NBA game. Funny enough, a lot of the design inspiration came from LeBron's H2 Hummer, with the Nike logo on the outsole and the chrome bumper on the heel. Do you guys remember when Hummers were like a status symbol? I remember those were like a big deal. Like if you had a Hummer in the neighborhood, you were like, you had some money. The shoe also features a Zoom air cushion, something that we'd see on the LeBron line for future iterations leading all the way up to the LeBron 8. This shoe had to do well for Nike. And 19 models later in 2022, I can confidently say it paid off for Nike. Alright, the most 2000s basketball shoe ever, the Nike Huarache 2K4. If you've played basketball in this shoe at some point, you know this shoe is great, one of the greatest ever. Lead designer Eric Avar took inspiration from the classic Air Force One, trying to bring that tried and true aesthetic with a clean look and a great performance sneaker. This shoe features a full-length herringbone traction, zoom cushioning, Nike's popular Huarache booty construction, and an ankle strap. And this shoe was so popular. Most of its popularity came from Kobe wearing the shoe before Nike released his own signature shoe with Nike. Taking the shoes to the NBA Finals didn't hurt either. One of the greatest basketball shoes ever made. We think the 2000s had some great sneakers hit the hardwood, and some of the best ever actually. What were some of your favorites? What did you wear back then? Let us know in the comments down below. Peace for now.